Good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday so far. This your boy Heat of Cool. Hope everyone is enjoying their Sunday. Hope everyone had a great weekend so far. It's something that I want to just explain. That's something I had on my mind about, this topic that I'm doing and stuff. And I had explained about this, I don't know how many years ago, about, I said fake self-conscious people. But, I had discussed about when a friend of mine came in town that used to be my old roommate, and we used to went into this went into the Five Points area and went to this store that sell like merchandise and shirts and all that. But the guy that was like that was like was in there, that was like selling everything, he was just treating us kind of like funny at the type. And he was one of those, won't be surprised he was one of those fake self-conscious Pan-African type. But that's what I want to talk about, being a true self-conscious person. A true self-conscious person is gonna say what he or she's gonna say on their mind, being a man and a woman of their words, and they live by it. But uh, a self-conscious person that's not a true self-conscious person, they're gonna do a false speech or teach a false speech and don't live by it. That's another word for a Pan-African. I tried to look up Pan-African, but it did not give me the definition of what it is. It gave me a different definition of what a Pan-African is. So the fake self-conscious people are the Pan-Africans. For an example, like they'll like preach something, they'll like, do a speech about, the white man and stuff, and telling about the truth about history. But when they look at their own kind, they look at us funny. That's not a true self-conscious person right there. That's a Pan-African, to my opinion. Like, for an example, like, I really don't go to open mic nights no more. And the reason why, like, I I I believe I seen it all. Like, I seen people when I was at open mic nights say a true, good, powerful speech, but afterwards they'll look at other people funny acting. I believe they did that to me. I'm not sure, but I believe they did. But don't get me wrong that, some of the other people that was like doing poetry or spoken words did a great job, and they greeted me and everything, and we conversate. And others, they did a good speech, but afterwards they was just being funny acting around their own kind. And that's not a true self-conscious person right there. That's nothing but a Pan-African. So that's the reason why I don't go to the open mic nights no more, because when you go there, you're going to feel different types of spirits up in the good spirits, bad spirits. And that's that. I'm just telling the truth. You don't have to believe me. But if whoever does poetry or spoken word artist, you can see for yourself and experience for yourself when you go to these open mic nights or art and soul. The only time if I will go perform is somebody call me up to see if I want to go perform at an open mic night, depending on my schedule and stuff. But I don't do that no more to avoid, to avoid, to avoid the that situation and stuff like that, that mess, going there, seeing a Pan-African doing a, a speech, a good message, a good poetry, good spoken word. He or she do a nice job, but afterwards they'll look at you kind of like strange, or you don't exist or anything. And that's how it's been going for all these years. Since the beginning of time, it's always been like that. But anyway, I believe I was with a roommate, and he did spoken words. He also do spoken words. I don't know, he still do that now. He went, I don't know what he performed at that open mic night. I don't know if it was fantasies or something else. But when he saw a lady, I think she didn't perform that day, but I believe some other day she did perform and she did a good job. But I think that day that she did not perform, he went up there, tried to like, talk to her. She didn't want to be bothered. I don't know. She had something on her mind, or she was just being, funny acting. And it kind of bothered me at first when he was talking about that. But sooner or later, I've been experienced of, strange vibes from other subconscious people, and stuff. Like I remember one time, I was on the bus and it was a guy. I didn't know he was asleep at the time, but I thought he was asleep. But when I had touched him, he was reading a book. When he looked up, he was just looking at me kind of like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I thought you was asleep." He kept looking at me like, "Bro, I thought you was asleep." He's trying to make a big deal out of it. He was reading some type of book. And I had felt that strange vibe. I'm like, this must not be a good self-conscious person. He's not cool. And, I'm like, he must be one of those guys think he's better than somebody. One of those self-conscious guys think he's better than somebody and look down on others. But you yourself is not, whatever you're reading, you're not practicing what you are preaching or what you are doing. You just want to read, think you better, and not living what you are studying out and stuff like that. So I got some advice from a guy that also do spoken words. He a true spoken word artist. He a man of his word. Used to be my roommate. He stays out in the West Coast. He told me you got some self-conscious people that are cool. You got some self-conscious people that are not cool. And the ones that are not cool, to my opinion, are really Pan-Africans and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I do my best to keep my distance. And, I avoid, going to open mic nights because there's a lot of them up there do a good job, but afterwards they'll look funny acting and act funny acting to their own kind. And I experienced that before. And there's one lady I'm not friends with on Facebook, but she don't go to the church that I don't go to no more as well. She don't get me wrong. I believe I seen her perform before, and I know she did a good job of being a spoken word artist. But when I'm around her, her vibe don't seem right to me. I seen her a few times before when I used to stay on La Vista, and and I seen her a few times before at the open mic nights. And I believe she picked the people that she close to talk to and that she cool with. But people like me and others, it's a different story. So I be feeling strange vibes around people like that. So I'm just telling like it is and stuff, because every day, it's a lot of Pan-Africans out there preaching the word, doing spoken words, and selling merchandise like, what's that? Black cement, whatever you call it, cement, that light up the room to make a good smell out of it, and incense, whatever you call it, and other self-conscious merchandise. But behind closed doors, they look at other black people funny acting. Like, for an example, back in 2019, when I was in Tuskegee, Alabama, I was with the guy I mentioned that he was telling me about. You got some self-conscious people are cool. You got some self-conscious people that are not cool. We was going to homecoming in Tuskegee, Alabama. I forgot what we was doing. I think we was blocking I think we was blocking the aisle. I don't know. But it was this lady had came up to us being rude, saying, "You're blocking the aisle." I forgot, she said something like that, but whatever she was saying, she was rude. And I just gave her that crazy look, like she shouldn't have just came professional, not rude. And she looked at self-conscious. I know she was self-conscious, selling all, self-conscious merchandise and all that type of stuff. But I know I could tell that she was not a true self-conscious person. She was one of those Pan-African looking down on other black people like me and him and stuff like that. So it's like, if a person want to be self-conscious, they need to be a true self-conscious person and not a fake self-conscious person being a pan-African. Be a man or woman of your word when you doing a speech or preaching a word or doing spoken words or rapping self-consciously and stuff like that. It's just like, a person going to service and they hear the preacher preach and he do a good job of preaching whatever the message he's talking about. And afterwards, that person want to go up there and greet him, saying congratulations. The preacher tune up his nose. It's just like that. It's the same thing of these self-conscious people, fake self-conscious people, Pan-Africans. They do the same thing, and it happened, and it's going on for so many years and stuff. Like, you got some self-conscious rappers. They are, they they do they deliver message, they rap and stuff, but behind closed doors, they're not really a cool person. I'm not gonna call their names, but I know one person that's a true self-conscious artist, and he been rapping since the 90s, and that speech, he tell it like it is. Whatever song he do, he a man of his words when he do that song. Like, he came out with a song called America Never Got Your Back, talking about, I believe black females being treated disrespectfully. He did a good job on that. Amazing job. And I know he was a man of his word doing that song. I congratulate him. And you got another self-conscious rapper like myself speak the truth as well and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I know nobody's not perfect, including myself. I do my best to be cool with everybody and do my best to love people that I'm not close to from a distance. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say, if a person want to be self-conscious, they need to be a man or woman of their words when they preach the gospel, doing spoken word music, self-conscious music or poetry. Do that, because there's a lot of Pan-Africans out there. They do a good job, but afterwards they're gonna look funny at them towards their own kind. And I'm just being real about that. So I'm not trying to say whoever do spoken words and poetry not to go back to open mic nights no more. But the reason why I don't go is just a lot going on up in there. A lot of people with different mind frames. Some think they better than somebody. Others are cool, and others are a man of their words. And that's the reason why I don't go there, because it's just a lot of them up in there doing spoken words, doing a good job. But afterwards, somebody congratulate you, they look at you different and the nose tune up. I'm not saying don't go to open mic nights no more. You can still go, but I don't go because there's a lot of that up in there, a lot of Pan-Africans up in there doing a message and afterwards being funny acting around their own kind. But that's the message that I want to explain and stuff. I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your night. Like I always say this, stay cool. Don't be a fool. And that's what's up. Take care and peace. Oh.